I've had a trying week, a difficult week, and I want to share that with you. The Tuesday night, I'm at home. Pam and I are home with 4 cats, so you can imagine our life. It's pretty boring. And Pam started feeling kind of nauseous. Something was not right. She was not feeling great. So she went upstairs to lay down, and then finally she called me and said, "You need to come up to the room." So I went up to the room. Now, Pam and I have been married 35 years, and so I know Pam really well. Been my girlfriend for 38 years. So I know when she's not feeling well. So I got up to the room, and she was super nauseous, and she's like, I think I need to go to the ER just to get this checked. I don't know what's wrong with me. And then all of a sudden, she passed out in front of me. Like, that's never happened. Again, 35 years of marriage, she passes out in front of me in our bedroom. So I had, for the first time in my married life, had to call 911. The ambulance comes, takes her to Penrose, Maine, on Nevada. Turns out she just had a really severe case of nausea, which can cause, it's more common in females than males, but it causes women to pass out. And so we were there until midnight on Tuesday night. I do appreciate, it was not lost on me that last Sunday, I prayed for first responders. You remember me praying for that last Sunday? I thought about that. I prayed for first responders, and then there was like 7 of them in my house on Tuesday night. And I wanted to say, hey, I prayed for all of y'all on Sunday. So I just want to say it was really good care that they gave my wife, and we were back home on Tuesday. She's just now feeling better. In fact, she felt well enough this morning. She's going to fly down to Louisiana to check on her mom. So thank the Lord for Pam feeling better, but it was quite a Tuesday at my house. And then Friday, I actually was not supposed to speak today. I was actually had a trip scheduled. But on Friday, John Egan was supposed to speak today, and his message was fantastic. He spoke on Friday night. But during the day on Friday, Lewis, his youngest son, was riding a mountain bike and almost hit a tree, jumped off the bike. The bike hit the tree, but his momentum took him back into the bike, and it punctured his small intestine. And so he had Friday night at, 8:30, John Egan gets a call, says, hey, your son's going into emergency surgery. So I want to give you a report. Lewis, I know if you're watching today, we love you, buddy. John, we love you, and Paige, your family. He's doing better. He got through surgery. It's been repaired. But that happened on Friday. So that's been a week, right? I told Pam, I said, every Sunday I stand down here, and it is my honor and my joy for you to come and share what's going on in your life. But now I get to share what's going on in my life with you. So that was Friday. So Lewis, we pray for strength. He's going to be in the hospital for probably 3 or 4 more days to get his body back into normal, and pray for John. And John and Paige both were a mess. You can imagine if your 13-year-old goes into emergency surgery, that's a big deal, right? So, and then on Friday, an article came out, this investigative journalist, and I want to share this with you today. An article came out on Friday and made some really ugly accusations about me that kind of went national. And as your pastor, I want you to know something about me. When I stand here in front of you every Sunday, everything I tell you is the truth. I will never, ever tell something that's slanted or untrue. I'll never be manipulative toward you. I'll never tell you a half-truth. I was raised by Leland and Pat Boyd on Marshall Highway, 7 miles outside of Logansport, Louisiana, to tell the truth. And one day I will stand before the Lord, and I will stand before my dad in heaven, and he's gonna ask me, Brady, were you a man of character, a man of integrity? And I wanna look him in the eye and look Jesus in the eye, look my dad in the eye, and tell him 100% that I was a man of integrity. So I wanna go back and tell you what happened. 18 years ago, you voted for me to be your senior pastor, and I've been the honor of my life for the last 18 years to stand on this stage, to lead this church back to a place of health, to a place of integrity. Our church now has a stellar reputation in town. It was not true 18 years ago. It was a messy place. It was a scandal. It was on the front page of every newspaper. It was a broken place when I got here 18 years ago. And I said yes to this because the Lord called me here. The Lord led me here through reading the book of Nehemiah about coming back and rebuilding broken down walls. That was the book of the Bible that the Lord brought me to. And so it's been my journey, it's been my mission for all these years to rebuild the broken walls of New Life Church, and I think we've done that. Let me tell you what the accusation was. 18 years ago, I was on staff at a church in Dallas-Fort Worth called Gateway Church, and the senior pastor there was Robert Morris. Robert and I met when I was the senior pastor of a little church out in Hereford, Texas. We had about 75 people in my little church, and for whatever reason, Robert agreed to come out and speak at my little church in West Texas, and I met him for the first time there at a K-Bob's restaurant, and over a chicken fried steak, he asked me to come with him to Southlake, Texas, and help him plant the church in Southlake, and Pam and I prayed about it for a year. And finally, the Lord spoke to us that we were to go to Southlake, and so I showed up at Southlake and helped plant Gateway Church in the first year of its existence. When I came to Gateway, it was 100 people. 6.5 years later, it was about 15,000. It grew really fast, and unbelievable, miraculous growth. I was a part of all that. And during that time, Robert and I were great friends. He hired me. I worked alongside him, had no reason to believe that he had any kind of character issues. He did confide in me that he had had a moral failure when he was 20 years old. And that's really all the details that he shared. It was like 15 years before that he had gone through a restoration process. And I didn't have any reason to doubt that. I never saw anything in his life that would lead me to believe that he was not a man of character. I would not have worked for him. I would not have put my family under his spiritual guidance if I had not known he was a man of character. So when, in August of 2007, the search committee of New Life Church, called me, little old me, to come be the pastor here at New Life Church. So Pam and I, we were in Louisiana at the time visiting our family. We packed up our car. Abram was 8 years old. Little Callie was 6 years old. They were just little babies. And we got in our car and drove for 2 days to come to Colorado. And on the way here, I'll never forget this conversation. I've never shared this with you. On the 2-day drive to Colorado from Louisiana with our little kids, we had a cat and 2 kids in the back seat. And Pam and I had a lot of windshield time. We had travel time, 8 or 9 hours of driving every day. And we said to each other, I don't care about being a celebrity pastor, being well known. I don't care anything about that. I don't care if anybody ever remembers my name when I retire. I don't care. But what we do care about, deeply, sincerely, what we care about is that our church is healthy. Can we just build the church of our dreams? We have this one opportunity to go build the church that we've always dreamed of leading. And that is a healthy congregation with a healthy staff, with a healthy leader. My soul is going to be healthy. The church is going to be healthy. And we talked about that for 2 days as we drove up here. And we have been doggedly determined to keep that pledge to each other, to make sure the church, the staff, the culture of our church is honest and full of integrity. Well, it came to light a year ago. In fact, next Sunday will be the 1-year anniversary of this news. But a year ago, next week, it came to light that Robert Morris had sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl for 4 straight years. And it was shocking. It was mind-numbing. It was awful. It was evil. And he admitted to a 4-year relationship that started when he was 20 years old. The girl, Cindy Clemishire, was 12 years old when the abuse started, and it happened for 4 years until he was 24 and she was 16. I didn't know that. Nobody, very few people knew that. And I was, in fact, I remember where I was. It was a Friday before Father's Day. I was on my couch. The phone rang. Pam was sitting there, and I put it on speakerphone because it was a longtime friend of mine. And Pam listened to the phone call, and we went, what? I mean, you can't imagine. I know some of you in the room have had people close to you that's deceived you and lied to you and manipulated you. It's an awful feeling to be deceived. To think you know someone, to think you're aware of someone's character only to realize this person is not who they've said they are. How many of you have ever felt that? And it's awful. The problem is that when I was interviewed here 18 years ago, there was an amazing group of people, I think 5 men, 4 women, a 9-person search committee that did a worldwide search for the next senior pastor of New Life Church. And they were amazing people, great people. They did due diligence on me. Some of the questions they asked me, I've never been asked before, but you can understand they needed to make sure that if they were going to put another person in a position of leadership at New Life, that person needed to be vetted well. And so they asked me every question they could about every topic. And I answered every question honestly. I introduced them to my friends, my pastoral friends, one of which, of course, was Robert Morris. And they prayed, they heard the Lord, and that's why I became senior pastor at New Life Church. In the process, though, of them interviewing me, the search committee was brought, the fact that Cindy Clemishire was 12 years old, that was brought to their attention. They found out, they heard in an interview with a family member that Cindy was 12 years old. And they immediately called the elders at Gateway Church and told them. And the elders of Gateway Church said, we're aware of that. It's been handled. Her family, her pastor has given Robert a thumbs up. They've gone through a process of restoration, and there's nothing left to do. It's already been reported. But the search committee didn't tell me. And so I made Robert an overseer of the church. And I want to say something to you this morning. Knowing what I know now, I absolutely regret that. And I'm sorry that I ever gave confidence to a person that had an obvious evil thing happening in his life. I just want to tell you, I'm so sorry that first of all, I did not know, but I would never, ever put a known pedophile in a place of authority in this church. Never would I ever do that to you, ever. I hope you know my heart. I hope you understand who I am. I've stood up here and I'm very vulnerable in front of you. I tell my story all the time. I would never, ever put a person in any place of authority, in any place in this church. I would never allow them to speak. I would never allow them to exercise authority over you if I did not know that they had absolute character. And so I want to tell you, I was deceived. I was lied to. Based on the information that I have now, I would have never ever allowed him on our campus, or much less to influence our church. And I'm sorry for that. I have been so sad in my heart for the last year since I found this out. But since the article came out, the article, and you don't have to go read it. I mean, the article makes it seem like that I've been hiding this from you, and I have not been hiding anything from you. I want you to know that. I stand before you as a blank slate, an open heart before you every Sunday, and I would not be able to sleep at night if I was not being honest and a person of integrity in front of you. So I want you to know I love you, and I love this church. And listen, you know what our church has gone through in the last 18 years, how the Lord this place is a miracle story. We've had an unbelievable year this year. A record number of baptisms. We have rescued single moms off the streets this year. We're the only free medical clinic in the state of Colorado. There's so many things that the Lord's doing powerfully among us. And this is an attack of the enemy. It's starting on Tuesday night with my wife passing out, starting with a bike accident, and then this report that was inaccurate. So what I'm leaning on this morning is trust from you. And I want you to know something. I take that very, very seriously. I don't know if you know what this is or not, what this relationship entails, but this relationship that I have with you, the fact that you got up this morning, got dressed, and came into this building and trust me to open up the Bible and teach you the Bible is built on trust. It's built on integrity and trust, and that is a fragile thing. I know right now there is an all-time low trust in institutions, and I think it's because it's not necessarily in what they did, it's how they tried to cover it up. So I'm telling you here today, I am not hiding anything for you. I'll always tell you the truth. And when I get new information, I will tell you I'll tell you everything I know. I will never hide. I don't have a PR firm waiting for me, behind stage to give me guidance today. I don't have a team of lawyers who are barking in my ear. This is Brady Boyd sitting on a stage telling you the truth this morning, and that's what it's going to be for the next 10 years. I'm going to stand on this stage and tell you the truth. So I am a bit embarrassed. I'm aggravated. I hate it. I don't like getting up here, and I'd rather be teaching the Bible today. I'd rather be telling you what the Bible says about the Holy Spirit today. That was my plan. Actually, my plan was for John Egan to preach today, and he's actually pretty good. He's awesome. And so I want you to know that today. If you have any questions about the article or any details, I'm happy to answer them. I know this. I'm going to go to bed tonight knowing I'm innocent. My heart is clean. I've been honest with you. I'll always be honest with you. I value the trust that you've given me. And I'll always work hard to keep that trust. I know trust is earned in drops. I tell my team all the time, trust is earned in drops, and it's lost immediately. And so my goal this morning is to stand here and tell you the truth and earn your trust again. And if you read the article and it bothers you, it upsets you, believe me, it upset me too. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Send me an email, talk to Daniel, talk to any of our elders. They're very aware of this. Listen, let me just tell you this. Pam Boyd would not let me get away with anything. Let me just tell you about her. I know she sits over there and looks innocent and sweet, but she does not let me get away with anything. And I love that. And my Daniel Grothy and my elders hold me to a high account. I don't know if you know this, but our overseers are Larry Stockstill, who's been around this church for 40 years, and Greg Surratt, men of absolute character. I have really good eldership. That's one blanket of accountability. I have friends on staff that hold me accountable. I'm married to a woman who's an Enneagram 1, so she is high justice. Everything is black and white with her. It's right or wrong, and there is no in between, so she holds me to a strict account, and I love that most of the time. And I have overseers that call and check on me all the time. I have very close friends who call and check on me all the time. So are you okay with, that's all I have to share, but I just want to tell you I love you and I appreciate you. So Robert has been charged with felonies. He will go to trial this fall, and I pray, listen, for Cindy Clemishire and her family. I pray justice. I want justice. I want the full weight of the judicial system. I don't want anybody to get away with anything. I want the justice system to operate according to the law. I want him to be brought to justice. He's admitted to this. And I pray for absolute justice and healing for the Clemishire family. I have nothing but compassion for her and for what she went through. That's awful. We got to do everything we can to protect our children, period. I have a daughter, and I've worked my whole life to protect her and to guard her, and we must always protect our kiddos.